بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Inshallah, today we will be going through the tafsir of Surah Al-Waqi'ah. It is just after Surah Al-Rahman, and personally speaking, it is one of my favorite surah. Every person, they may have their own preferences. For some reason I really like this surah. And the Prophet ﷺ also had a personal favorite surah in the Holy Quran. Anybody know which surah that was? It wasn't Surah Al-Waqi'ah. It is another surah which the Prophet ﷺ said in one hadith that this surah is more beloved to me than the whole world. Anybody know? Let's do a bit of a quiz with the brothers here, mashallah. See how much knowledge of the Quran we have. Anybody here? Do you know which surah was the most beloved surah of the Prophet ﷺ? Favorite surah? Yasin is the heart of the Quran. Very virtuous surah. But the Prophet of Allah did not mention this about Yasin. Any other surah? Anything else? Anybody wants to say anything else? Any other guesses? Hadith of Bukhari. Suratul Fatah, 26th para. Inna fatahna laka fatham mubina. When this surah was revealed, the Prophet ﷺ was on his way back from Hudaybiyah, and he said that such a surah has been revealed to me at night, which is beloved to me than everything the sun rises on, meaning the whole world, beloved to me. Allah talks about the dream of the Prophet ﷺ in there. It's an amazing surah. And it was revealed at a time when everything was going against Islam and Muslims, like we see today. And Allah is saying that conquest, we have given you conquest already. Everything is going downhill. Everything is going the other way. And Allah is saying that we have already given you conquest. So that is what we call Quran. The things are not working out for me or for Islam or personally or for the community or for the whole ummah. But when Quran says it is going to work out, it will definitely work out. When we read the media, when we read the social media, when we read the WhatsApp message, and then we get despondent, when we become hopeless. What is happening to the Muslims? Why is Islam suffering so much? Why are Muslims getting slaughtered everywhere? So we somehow get hopeless. We somehow become depressed. It seems like a never-ending atrocity. Just carries on and on and on. But subhanAllah, when we read the Quran, then we will be impressed. We will become hopeful. Our iman will increase. The stories of Musa alayhi salam, the story of Noah alayhi salam, the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam being thrown into the fire, but victory was for him. All these stories, Allah is saying that, O Muslims, if you are true in your obedience to Allah, if you are true in the dedication you have done to the obedience of Allah, then the help of Allah will be with you. The help of Allah is with you. Just like how it was with all the prophets of Allah. But that is when we read the Quran. Many people, they say, oh, what is happening to the Muslim? I said, brother, stop reading any other media. Read the Quran. The Quran will impress you. The Quran will upgrade your iman. Today people are losing faith because they are not reading Quran. They are not understanding Quran. They are reading at everything else, all the other media in the world. But when it comes to Quran, they don't have time. That is where iman goes away. Quran will bring your iman. Zadathum imana. Zadathum imana. The iman will increase. The iman will top up. The iman will upgrade. So, Inna fatahna laka fatham mubina is the most favorite surah of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Our Ustad used to say that in this moment in time, every day, every Muslim should read this surah with full faith, understanding the lifestyle of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he had to go through, and how conquest and how things worked out for him. For the first 60, 61 years, everything was going against him. You know, Sahaba getting shaheed, lives are getting lost, no food to eat, tying stones onto the stomach. It was only in the right at the end when things worked out. And many things which Allah mentioned in the Quran didn't actually work out in the life of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It worked out later on. Allah said in the Quran, فَإِمَّا نُرِيَنَّكَ بَعْضَ الَّذِي نَعِدُهُمْ. Some of the things which we have promised to you, we may show you in your life, أَوْ نَتَوَفَّيَنَّكَ, or we may show you afterwards. We may show the world after we have taken you away from the world. So this is the promise of Allah. Our job as Muslims is that what am I doing? What am I doing? Allah is not going to ask me, why did this happen in the world? I need to try my best to make sure I am doing my bit in it. But at the end of the day, I don't need to just sit hopeless and don't do anything as well. Allah will definitely ask me about my salah. Allah will definitely ask me about my Quran. Allah will definitely ask me about my actions. And then He will also ask me, what did you do with other Muslims? How did you help those who are suffering? That will also be asked. But things which are beyond our control, Allah is not going to ask us about. We need to worry about it. We need to make dua for it. We need to be really concerned for the ummah and do everything which is in our capacity. So إِذَا وَقَعَتِ الْوَاقِعَةِ, Allah is mentioning the incident of Qiyamah, when the event will happen. لَيْسَ لِوَقَعَتِهَا كَاذِبًا. There is no lie about it. It's definitely going to happen. When Allah says it's going to happen, Qiyamah is going to come, it is definitely, there is no lie about it. خَافِضَةُ رَافِعَةٌ. It's going to upgrade some people, it's going to downgrade some people. It's going to give some people, take them to the high, it's going to throw some people to the lowest of the low. Those who had iman, those who practice upon the deen, those who spend their life according to how Allah wanted them to be, they will be high up, to the extent that they will be under the shade of Allah on the day of Qiyamah. 7 are mentioned in one hadith, but in other hadith put together they are in total they are about 50 that are mentioned. In one hadith there are 7, but there are others as well. Allama Suyuti rahmatullahi alayhi, I believe he has got all the different narrations together and he's actually written a whole book, about 50 or even more, that are under the shade of Allah. So they will be the highest of the high. And then those who didn't have time for Allah, who didn't have time for the masajid, who didn't have time for Quran, they will be the lowest of the low. إِذَا رُجَّتِ الْأَرْضُ رَجَّةً. When the earth will be shaken, a terrible shake. The whole earth will be shaking. Not only your hearts are trembling, the whole earth is shaking. وَبُسَّتِ الْجِبَالُ بَسًّا. The mountains will be scattered all over. At this moment in time, it's so firm, it doesn't even move anywhere. وَتَكُونُ الْجِبَالُ كَالْعِهْنِ الْمَنْفُوشِ. It becomes like wool flying around. If you realize these ayat, they are very rhythmic, rhyme. واقعة, كاذبة, رافعة, خاف. These are those surah you will find a lot which are revealed before Hijrah, Makkiyah. You get 2 types of surah in the Quran, Makkiyah and Madaniyah. Makkiyah does not mean that they were revealed in Makkah. Madaniyah does not mean they were revealed in Medina. Makkiyah means they were revealed before Hijrah. Madaniyah means they were revealed after Hijrah. It could have been revealed anywhere. Many verses were revealed outside Makkah, outside Medina, many different other places it were revealed. And the verses which are revealed before Hijrah in Makkah are very to the point, very sharp, very abrupt, very rhythmic. It has a rhyme. Because the people in Makkah, they were very fond of the language. The Quraysh, they were not very learned, educated in terms of the history and in terms of the religion, but when it came to the language, they were very fond of it. They were into the poetry, they were into the rhymes and everything, to the extent that the best poetry used to be, hung on the Kaaba. Like how you have a notice board. Kaaba was used as a notice board. So whoever's poetry was the best, they would hang it on the Kaaba. And when the Quran started coming down, then one by one, those poetry also started coming down. Because the verses of the Quran was just amazing. It was beating all the poetry. So when the Quran was being revealed, was coming down, there were 7 that were hung. There were 7. That was known as sab'a mu'allaqah or mu'allaqat. 7 which are hung. When the Quran came down, one by one it started going down, but there was still one remaining. Imra'ul Qais. He had passed away. He was a very amazing poet of the Arabs. He had passed away, but his sister said, no, my brother's poetry is still the best. I still don't believe that any verse of the Quran until now has surpassed my brother's poetry. So my brother's poetry will still remain on there. When one verse of the Holy Quran came, وَقِيلَ يَا أَغْضُبْ لَعِي مَاءَكِ وَيَا سَمَاءُ أَقْلَعِي وَغِيضَ الْمَاءِ وَقُضِيَ الْأَمْرِ وَاسْتَوَتْ عَلَى الْجُودِيِّ وَقِيلَ بُعْدًا لِلْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. The verses Allah is using and the verbs Allah is using to address the sky and to address the earth, and amazing. The usage of words, when this ayah came, she personally came and pulled the poetry and said, this verse has beaten my brother's poetry. So all the poetry came down. Quran was the best. Quran is not a poetry. And then all the Quraysh of Makkah, the whole day they used to be speaking ill of the Prophet of Allah, and speaking ill of Islam, and cursing Muslims and Islam and punishing them. But when it came to night time, they were the same people secretly listening to the Quran of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They couldn't do without it. They were so fond of it. They said, no, we still have to secretly go and listen to it. So Umar radiallahu anhu, not yet a Muslim, at night time he hides with some of his friends and they are listening to the Quran of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet of Allah is reading Al-Haqqah, Mal-Haqqah, Wa ma adraka Mal-Haqqah. And they're just getting a buzz out of it. They're not even Muslims yet. But the Prophet of Allah doesn't know. He's just reading on his own, in his own world, He's listening to his Quran. That is the dedication people used to read Quran with. Today we are reading Quran and then somebody else. That's not dedication. Today we are reading Quran and then we also have the phone there as well. Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, when he used to be reading the Quran, nobody could say anything to him. He was so dedicated. If anybody disturbed him while he was reading the Quran, he would get really upset. Why are you disturbing me? What is coming? Why are you trying to come between me and my recitation? Me and my tilawah? That was the dedication they had with the Quran. Total concentration, everything out of the world. At this moment in time, just me and my Quran. So the Prophet of Allah was in that situation, and then Umar radiallahu anhu was secretly, hidingly reading, listening to his Quran. And such a rhyme that is going on. So he wasn't yet a Muslim, so he said, wow, this guy looks like an amazing poet. So immediately the verses came, وَمَا هُوَ بِقَوْلِ شَاعِرٍ. This is not the words of a poet. This is not the words of a poet. So he said, how does this guy know that I was thinking that this guy is a poet? He can't even hear me. He must be a magician. It's through magic that he found out what I was just saying about him secretly. So the next verse Allah says, وَمَا هُوَ بِقَوْلِ كَاهِنٍ قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. It's not even magic. It's not even soothsaying. It's not even fortune telling. They said, no, this is too much for me. Whatever I am thinking, whatever is coming through my tongue, the Quran is giving the answer to it. That's the Quran. When we understand the Quran, and sometimes we're going through a certain phase in our life, and sometimes we confused, what shall I do? And all of a sudden when we come for salah and then the imam recites a certain surah, and subhanallah, that is the answer to what we need to do. That really gets us going. But that's when we understand it. If we don't understand it, then it'll just be another maghrib for us. It'll just be another asr, it'll just be another fajr or something. We won't understand anything. But when we have that understanding of the Quran, And subhanAllah, we can relate to it. We will see that so many confusions in our life will be solved through the Quran. Sometimes, we just thinking, what should I do? And then all of a sudden, one verse, Allah opens up and that is the solution. Allah give us understanding. So, Allah says, وَبُسَّتِ الْجِبَالُ بَسًّا فَكَانَتْ هَبَاءً مُنْبَثًّا. It will become like sand scattering around, flying around, like mountains will become like sand moving around. وَكُنْتُمْ أَزْوَاجًا ثَلَاثًا. Allah is trying to say that if such a big creation like mountains will be in this condition, what about you? You need to think that if Allah can do this to the mountains, what can He not do to me? So you should already give you the shake. It should already give you that shiva. It should already be that turning point in your life. Wake up call for you. وَكُنْتُمْ أَزْوَاجًا ثَلَاثًا. You will be into 3 groups. فَأَصْحَابُ الْمَيْمَنَةِ. 3 groups meaning the group of the right hand, the right. مَا أَصْحَابُ فَأَصْحَابُ الْيَمِينَ مَا أَصْحَابُ الْيَمِينَ. Allah mentions وَأَصْحَابُ الْمَشْأَمَةِ مَا أَصْحَابُ الْمَشْأَمَةِ. The group of the left. And then Allah opens them up later on as well. Then Allah says the 3rd group وَالسَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ. The one who are always at the forefront. They will always be at the forefront. أُولَٰئِكَ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ. They are the ones that are the closest to Allah. Who are these people? Some ulama, they mentioned these could be the prophets, because the prophet were always at the forefront of everything. But then there is a hadith of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, أَنْتُمُ الْآخِرُونَ السَّابِقُونَ. You are the last, but you will be the first. Meaning, you are the last to come into this world, but then you will be the first to go to Jannah. No ummah will be able to go to Jannah before this ummah. No prophet will be able to go to Jannah before Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that is a favor on us. We should do shukr to Allah every day. That, oh Allah, you have made me a Muslim. You have made me from the ummah of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Some say that these are those who became Muslim very early. The Sahaba, the Tabi'een, who had to sacrifice a lot in order to be firm on the Iman. They were, Sahaba radiallahu anhum, what they had to go through. Today me and you have got it so easy. Alhamdulillah. They had it so difficult. Or it could be those people who have to give a lot of sacrifice in order to become Muslim. The new Muslims of today, they have to, it could depend on how much a person is ready to sacrifice for his Iman. Or another meaning could be those people who are always at the forefront when it comes to good things. It could be any good thing. They are always at the forefront. They are not at the back. They are not always at the back saying that, let other people help out as well. I don't always have to do it. No. They're always ready. Whether anybody does it or not, I'm going to do it. Helping these poor people there, helping that project, helping this, helping that, helping this masjid. No, I need to do it. I need to put my share into it. The whole world, many people, they are like sightseers. They just sit around saying, Chalo, it's a new project, let's see how it works on. And when it works out properly, then they all jump on. They are sightseers. They are not sabiqun. Sabiqun are there. If they see something good, whether they can see the results of it now or not, they want to be from the foundation. The foundation of the building you can never see. It's always underground. You can only see the structure at the top. You cannot see the foundation at the bottom. There are many people who work so hard 70, 80, in the 70s, 80s, 40, 50 years ago in this country, in order to establish so many things. Today, we are eating the fruits of it. They never saw the fruits. But they were the foundation. They are the sabiqun. They had to go through a lot in those days in order to do what we have to do today. And like this we will. So what are we going to become the foundation of for tomorrow? That is the question today. Then we will become from the sabiqun. Those who are always at the forefront of things. If we are at the forefront of everything, then inshallah we will be at the forefront on the day of Qiyamah. Many people, mashallah, we have a gathering here. When adab of the gathering is to come and sit close, that's also etiquette. Whoever wants to come and sit close, we're not going to repeat our announcement all the time. But that is the adab I'm mentioning. Whoever wants to follow the adab, they can follow the adab. They can come and sit close. 3 people, they came to the gathering of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they said, one sat right at the front. He found some space at the front, so he came and sat right at the front. One sat at the back. When he came a little while, he went away. The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, these 3 people, let me tell you a bit about them. The person who came right at the front, he was advancing towards the goodness, he was advancing and coming right at the front. Allah brought him close. The person who shied away, he sat at the back, he was shying away, he never wanted to come too close, although there was space at the front. Allah also kept away from him. And then the 3rd person, he ignored. He came and then he saw, not my type, then he went away. So Allah also kept His mercy away from him. So that is sabiqun as well, that you always stay at the forefront of things. Another meaning could be, I'm mentioning the different type of sabiqun here, is one day the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he asked the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, who gave charity today? Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, I. He said, who followed the janazah today? Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, I. Who did this today? Like this, he mentioned about 5 or 10 different good deeds, different narration. And Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, me. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever has done all these good deeds, then Jannah is for him. Meaning, it was in the personality of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu to always be there wherever there was good. He was always there. He's always looking for good things. Good things here, good things. Where can I get? This could be my akhirah, this could be my akhirah, this could be my Jannah, this could be my Jannah, this could be my Jannah. This is sabiqun as-sabiqun. They don't look down on any good deed. They don't look down on any good deed. Allah make us from among those people. If we are always at the forefront of every good thing in this world, inshallah, when the good thing that will be distributed on the day of Qiyamah, Allah will keep us at the forefront. May Almighty Allah first of all give me the understanding, give all of us the understanding. Ameen wa sallallahu wa sallam ala rasulina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.